Here's what I perceive to be the potential flaws. I think the Red Sox could still realistically be trying to win. I think the Guardians and the Cardinals could realistically still be trying to win. Even though the Guardians are way back, they still have wild card hopes, and so do the Cardinals. However, Aroldis Chapman and Ryan Helsley, what makes them interesting is that if either of those teams want to sell, which I don't know why they would, but maybe they'll go on a quick little losing streak before the trade deadline. Both of those guys are rentals. They're UFAs going into a 2026, so you probably wouldn't have to give up too much. All of these guys would help the Tigers bullpen, no doubt about it. We know how Dominic Clase has been. We know Mason Miller, even though he's having a bit of a down year, can sling it at like 103 miles per hour. With some of these guys, I think some people would be uncomfortable with what the Tigers would have to give up as compared to more of what my list entails, last place teams that have expiring contracts, and you probably wouldn't have to give up too much.
Protects your window today and for the future.
I'm cool with whatever route Scott Harris wants to go. If he wants to get one of these guys, great. I mean, Aroldis Chapman, for crying out loud, looks like prime Aroldis Chapman. He looks just as good as he did back in his prime Cincinnati days. I would love any of those guys, but I presented a little bit of a different method of like, expiring contracts, teams we know are selling, wouldn't have to give up too much.
And I'm seeing Weezy D through and through in the chat. He says, Mason Miller, Hensley, yes, please. How do you feel about some of those names before Flannel gives us his version?
I mean, some of the names listed on that list, I don't know how realistic some of those names are. Yeah. I know Bednar has been talked about a lot. Coming off of a really, really bad season this year, he looks really good, return to form. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Tiger uniform, but I'm interested to get some of these names that Flannel has because I know Flannel's really paying attention, and I know that he has a good eye for what the Tigers can use.
And for the record, the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Athletics, I think you can 100% be guaranteed that they're selling. And it's funny because they mentioned Felix Bautista. I actually have a couple of Orioles on my list, including one who I think a lot of you will find radioactive. But that's why we go over it. That's why we talk it through. So without any further ado, I will give my list of guys. And for the record, before I go to it, just to give a quick criteria or to remind you guys again, I'm looking for guys who are on expiring contracts, who are effective, who you wouldn't have to give up really a whole lot of anything of a consequence for, and they can help this team this year, and you would still have that elite farm system. You wouldn't have to give up anybody like the Max Clarks and the McGonagalls of the world, or the Briseños, or Tyron Lorenzo, Bryce Renner. You wouldn't have to give up any of those. And there are 6 guys that meet my criteria. If you want to put that one up, JB, Detroit Tigers deadline bullpen targets. And I've went over them before, but I'll just give a quick list. Kyle Finnegan, right-handed pitcher of the Nationals. Caleb Ferguson, lefty for the Pirates. Sir Anthony Dominguez, righty for the Orioles. Gregory Soto, our old friend, lefty for the Orioles. Rafael Montero, righty for the Braves. And Raisel Iglesias, righty for the Braves. Because the Braves, I think they're a team that's going to look to be selling too, because they're probably the most disappointing team in baseball this year, and they're quickly to the point where who cares if Ronald Acuña's back? They can't catch all these teams.
Right.
So this is my list, and if you want just a quick further breakdown on these guys, if you would go, JB, to bullpen targets with 2025 stats part 1. And I know this is a little bit of a retread over something I presented a couple weeks ago, but I had to update their numbers a bit. Kyle Finnegan, 34 2/3 innings, 27 strikeouts, 12 walks, 3.12 ERA, 1.18 whip, 18 saves. He's had a really nice year for the Nationals as their closer. Caleb Ferguson, and remember, he is a lefty. 40 innings, 31 strikeouts, 14 walks, 2.70 ERA, 1.03 whip, 9 holds. I really like the ERA and the whip on a Caleb Ferguson, and we know that Kyle Finnegan, this season that he has had in a lot of high leverage situations. I would say the one thing about both of these guys is this year they haven't shown that they can miss bats maybe as much as we wanted. However, got some guys for that too. Starting with Sir Anthony Dominguez. This season, he's pitched 38 1/3. He plays for the Orioles, by the way. 51 strikeouts, which is a great... That guy misses bats. 22 walks is a little bit high, but Chris Fetter, That's where maybe he can hone in some of that wildness. 3.29 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, and 12 holds. If you're looking for a guy who misses bats, Seranthony Dominguez is more your speed. However, I've got a few more. How about bullpen targets part 2, Mr. JV Smooth? It should be right under that. Gregory Soto. Again, I know a lot of you probably find him radioactive, but he's actually been pretty good for the Orioles. Also misses bats. 33 2/3 innings this year, 40 strikeouts, 15 walks, 3.74 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, 18 holds. 18 holds is insane, by the way. I don't know how you get 18 holds playing for the Orioles, but shout out Gregory Soto. Rafael Montero. 34 innings, 36 strikeouts, 17 walks, 3.97 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 6 holds. Another guy who misses bats, and Gregory Soto is a lefty who misses bats. Raisel Iglesias. More on him in just a second. 36 2/3 innings, 42 strikeouts, 7 walks. God, that is a sexy strikes to walk ratio. 4.42 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, 11 saves. This tells me with Raisel Iglesias that everything about what he's brought to the table this year has been really, really good. It's just that ERA is
but when
he
gets caught, he gets caught.
He does. However, one more thing, and then I will throw it around because I'm not trying to filibuster too much. I have one specific on Raisel Iglesias, why he is somebody that the Tigers should pick up, and maybe even my top target. Because this is what Raisel Iglesias has done in his career and with the Braves, his most recent team, despite his a little bit down year. For his career, he's pitched 705 1/3 innings, 838 strikeouts, love that. A 4.3 strikeout to walk ratio, love that. A 2.95 ERA, a 1.06 WHIP, elite, 235 saves. With the Braves, his most recent team, the team he's on now, so this shows that even recently, he's not somebody who's washed or anything. He's just having a little bit of a down year, including this down year. He's given 188 innings, 208 strikeouts, a 5.2 strikeouts to walk ratio, elite, 2.44 ERA, elite, 0.97 WHIP, elite, and 79 saves. All of these guys that I mentioned are UFAs going into next year. You probably would have to give up your 20th best prospect to get them. If Scott Harris doesn't go after one of these guys or one of the guys that is mentioned in the Yahoo article, I'm starting to think it's malfeasance at this point. Yahoo gave you 6. I gave you 6. Scott Harris, time to cook up and get us some bullpen help.
I was going to ask you, what's your top 3?
Top 3? I would probably say my number 1 is Raisel Iglesias.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
I can tell by the way you was talking him up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would say. I would say 2 Kyle Finnegan and 3 Seranthony Dominguez.
Dominguez is my first. I would go.
That's
after
fair.
Him.
He misses bats, man.
Yeah.
That strikeouts per innings pitched is elite. Just need to hone in on the wildness a little bit. But come to Detroit.
Right.
Don't want to play
Chris Fetter, man. Chris Fetter.
The Orioles, even though they've been a little bit better lately, they're out of it. They're a dumpster fire.
Sam, I wanted to ask you this real quick, and shout out to What Up Though with Detroit Gunny. He says he would be cool with any of those guys. Do you prefer a left-handed pitcher or a right-handed pitcher? Do you think that matters? No. I mean, you can always. I don't think you can have enough lefties, but you know.
Okay, so you might have got me into a little bit of a trap because all 3 that I mentioned as my favorites were righties.
Yeah.
But I can also see the appeal as a lefty because you've got Canley and Vest who are righties, Holton who's a lefty. I don't think it matters too much. Just get the best guy, the best deal that you can get. Maybe 2 of them, maybe both.
Yeah. And I'm seeing in the chat here, and there's a lot of support for this, but there's some people who also believe pass. I don't. With seeing where the Tigers bullpen is, I'm hoping that they take a swing on somebody across one of these lists here. But
Rando, all guys on bad teams with no pressure situations. Good teams aren't selling, bro.
Yeah.
Good teams aren't selling. Let's go get, I don't know, the closer for the Dodgers or the closer for the Cubs. No, they're not selling. Good teams are not selling.